Welcome to Global Report, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Imagine a club of powerful countries. Power. But not led by the US or Europe. BRICS was formed by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Nations seeking a bigger voice in global affairs, they created their own bank to fund major projects and challenge Western dominance. Together, BRICS nations represent nearly half the world's population and over a quarter of the global economy. Unlike NATO, BRICS isn't a military alliance, it's an economic and political partnership. As BRICS grows, its influence is reshaping international relations. The world is watching. How far can BRICS go in changing the rules of the game? In August 2023, BRICS invited 6 new countries to join, including Argentina. For Argentina, this was a chance for stronger trade and access to new development funds. The government celebrated, but a dramatic shift followed. After a presidential election, Javier Milei took power and quickly rejected the BRICS invitation. He sent letters to BRICS leaders, formally declining membership. Milei's reason: he refused to ally with communists, targeting members like China. He wanted Argentina to align with the West, especially the US and Israel. This was a sharp pivot from the previous government's approach. Argentina's rejection was more than a policy change. It was a symbolic declaration. The country chose the Western camp, setting itself apart from neighbors like Brazil. This decision would have major consequences for Argentina's future and the region's balance of power. It signaled that, for some, the West's appeal remained strong. The world took notice, as Argentina charted a new course. Javier Milei is no ordinary politician. An economist with radical ideas, he won Argentina's presidency in 2023 by promising to slash government and overhaul the economy. Milei brands himself an anarcho-capitalist, championing individual freedom and limited government. From the start, he made foreign policy central to his platform. He pledged unwavering support for the US and Israel, reversing Argentina's previous tilt toward China and Russia. Milei sees the world as a battle between freedom and socialism, with no middle ground. His rejection of BRICS was a clear ideological stand. Since taking office, he's worked to make Argentina the US's closest ally in South America. He's courted American investment and IMF support, betting this will stabilize Argentina's economy. While many countries try to balance between the US and China, Milei picked a side, without hesitation. His pro-Western stance is a bold counter to the global trend of moving away from US influence. For Milei, a Western alliance is Argentina's best hope for prosperity. His choice is reshaping Argentina's place in the world. Under Milei, Argentina's relationship with the US has never been closer. In February 2025, former President Trump, re-elected in 2024, publicly praised Milei as his favorite president. The Trump administration sees Milei as a key conservative ally in a region shifting left. The US has backed Argentina with crucial economic support, urging the IMF to provide billions in new funds. This partnership is strategic. The US wants a strong ally to counter China's growing influence in South America. Ambassador Peter Lamelas has openly stated his mission is to push back against China in the region. The US is reviving a transactional approach, using economic power to shape Latin America's choices. For Argentina, US support is vital for Milei's reforms and economic recovery. For the US, Argentina is a foothold in the global competition with China and BRICS. The alliance also gives the US access to Argentina's strategic resources, like lithium. By strengthening ties, both countries aim to secure their interests and limit rivals' expansion. This partnership is a clear example of how global power struggles play out regionally. Argentina's pivot to the US is reshaping alliances in Latin America. The US is determined to keep its influence strong in its backyard. For now, Argentina stands as America's most reliable partner in the region. The world is watching this new alliance closely. While Argentina said no, many countries are eager to join BRICS. By early 2025, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Indonesia had joined, expanding the bloc to 10 members. This growth brings in major oil producers and populous nations, boosting BRICS' global influence. For developing countries, BRICS offers an alternative to Western-dominated systems and access to funding without harsh conditions. Over 30 more nations have applied or shown interest, from Turkey to Nigeria. BRICS now allows partner countries to cooperate without full membership, making it even more attractive. The expansion signals a global desire for alternatives to U.S. leadership. Many see BRICS as a champion of the global South and a path to a more balanced world order. The bloc's rapid growth is reshaping international relations. One of BRICS' boldest goals is to reduce the world's reliance on the US dollar, a process called de-dollarization. For decades, the dollar has dominated global trade and finance, giving the US enormous power. BRICS members, especially Russia and China, want to protect themselves from US sanctions by trading in their own currencies. They're building new payment systems like BRICS Bridge to bypass the dollar entirely. While talk of a single BRICS currency exists, the focus is on practical alternatives for now. This push directly challenges American economic dominance. The dollar's status lets the US borrow cheaply and fund deficits. Losing that edge would have serious consequences. The trend is slow but real. In 2023, 1/5 of global oil was sold in non-dollar currencies. De-dollarization is a long-term project, but the US is watching closely. The BRICS challenge is forcing the US to defend its financial leadership. As more countries join BRICS, the pressure on the dollar grows. The world's financial system is becoming more fragmented. The outcome will shape the future of global power. For now, the dollar remains dominant, but the landscape is shifting. BRICS is determined to build a world where no single currency rules. The US faces a new kind of competition, one that's economic, not just military. The stakes couldn't be higher. The US isn't standing by as BRICS challenges its dominance. The Trump administration has threatened massive tariffs, up to 100%, on BRICS countries that undermine the dollar. In 2025, the US imposed heavy tariffs on steel, aluminum, and other goods from China, Brazil, and the UAE. Some tariffs targeted Brazil's digital payment system, seen as punishment for supporting de-dollarization. Tariffs are now a weapon in the fight to protect US interests. The US is also using military force. In June 2025, it bombed Iranian nuclear sites, sending a message to BRICS. This action highlighted the limits of BRICS' ability to shield its members from American power. At the same time, the US is strengthening alliances with pro-Western leaders like Milei in Argentina. The goal: build a network to resist China and Russia's influence. The US is also pushing back against Chinese investment in Latin America, a strategy called de-Sinicization. This multi-pronged approach shows the US is fully engaged in the global competition. Tariffs, military action, and alliances are all tools in this new era of rivalry. The US is determined to maintain its leadership, whatever it takes. The BRICS bloc faces real obstacles as it tries to build an alternative order. The world is entering a period of intense competition and shifting alliances. The outcome will define the next chapter of global power. Despite its united front, BRICS faces serious internal challenges. China and India, the bloc's giants, are rivals with a tense border dispute. The addition of both Saudi Arabia and Iran brings new regional rivalries into the group. Members have diverging foreign policy goals. India, for example, is deepening ties with the US through the Quad. Power imbalances are clear. China's economy dwarfs the rest, raising fears of a China-centric bloc. These divisions were visible at the 2025 Rio summit, where key leaders were absent. For BRICS, unity is much harder in practice than in theory. Argentina's BRICS story is a snapshot of a world in flux. The US is fighting to keep its influence, while BRICS nations push for a multipolar order. Countries everywhere must choose side with the West, join BRICS, or try to balance both. Argentina's pivot to the US shows the West's appeal endures, especially for nations in crisis. But BRICS' rapid expansion proves many want alternatives to US dominance. The world is splitting into competing camps, making global politics less predictable. Institutions are fragmenting as new ones rise. The US will keep using tariffs and sanctions. BRICS will keep building its own systems. We're entering an era of rivalry, not consensus. The final chapter of this global rebalancing is still unwritten.